Dolly, I'm just gonna put this buoy out the back. So how you feel about your first dive?
Seems like a good idea. It was really my first ocean dive, and the weather was snotty.
We have a love-hate relationship with amberjacks.
Oh, maybe not. Still pulling your arms out of the sockets. You, my friend, have caught the Florida reef donkey.
Oh. You never know what's gonna pop up in that chum line or what's gonna pop up behind the boat. Big wahoo! Sharks have become a huge problem here in the Keys. Think we got a little shark problem?
Looks like Jaws got him before we did.
My name is Ali Hussainy. I grew up in Southern California and now operate the largest sport fishing website in the world.
Just another day at the office?
My office, not yours. I'm Rush Maltz. I got you. What you seeing? Florida Keys native and career fishing guide for the past 20 years. When I come out to California, you can let me catch all the 300-pound tunas.
Our passion is our profession, and we know there's more to fishing than just the catch.
We explore the people, places, and species that make up the culture of fishing.
Running our business, BD Outdoors, I end up having to travel a lot. Fortunately, one of the places I get to travel to a lot is Florida, which I love. Specifically, I spent a lot of time in the Florida Keys. I wanted to make my first dive trip with my buddy Rush.
What better place to get dive certified than the Keys? You got one of the most beautiful coral reef systems in the world. The water's warm 90% of the time, and you got crystal clear water most of the time.
We tried to go out on a day that was going to be marginal.
Ali got his dive certification, but there's certain conditions that you're just not going to be comfortable with.
I've put together fishing trips and fished in a lot of places. There's a lot of variables that you can control, like the tackle, the boat, the outfitter, whatever. And then there's the big variable that will definitely bite you in the butt from time to time, and that's weather.
The main thing is don't be nervous.
Thanks, Coach. Diving's like, any other high-risk hobby. I like to fly airplanes as well, and one of the things that they teach you is know your limits and know when to tap out. It's no different with diving because the consequences can be so severe.
The Gulf Stream current, which is great on a nice calm day, but when you get a 20-mile-an-hour wind out of the south or southeast, it makes it pretty rough out there.
In the case of this dive that we tried to pull off here, it was really my first ocean dive, and the weather was snotty.
I've been doing this a long time. I've been diving here my whole life. For me, it was just another day. I could sense the discomfort in Ali.
The ocean is a very easy place to die. And there's no fish, no dive, no trip, no nothing that's worth taking that risk.
So how you feel about your first dive?
Seems like a good idea. Seems like a solid situation for your first dive. I mean, yeah, no, it seems perfect. What could possibly go wrong?
Dolly, I'm just gonna put this buoy out the back, swim up towards the anchor, go down the anchor, just kind of, if you want, you can pull yourself down the anchor if you feel a little more comfortable. Whatever you're comfortable with, buddy. I'll be right here with you.
Pretty much not comfortable with this, but let's give it a shot. Was I gonna die? No. Was I gonna get swept away and have a really bad first experience? Very likely. We were determined to give it a shot. We had a second camera boat. We had the safety thing covered. But I got in the water and I tried to get down, and the fact is there was just so much current and I could not get down. I was getting tired, I was getting beat up.
Once he got in the water, I totally can sense the discomfort, and it was time to get back in the boat, let him wait this one out, and we'll get you in on another dive another day. It wasn't ideal conditions for anybody, especially a novice diver. We had 2.5 knots of current, 6-foot seas. It was tough. If you weren't tucked up behind a coral head or under a ledge, you were getting sucked away by the current.
Really tough sitting there on the surface, watching the other guys down on the bottom, getting to check out all that cool structure and life. And then to compound that, they come up and tell me about all the cool fish that they saw. Nassau grouper, never seen one, I'd love to see one. They saw one of my favorite fish to catch, Cubera snappers down there. It killed me. It really hurt, But I lived to fight another day. I made a solid, safe decision, and I will be back, and I will get in that water, and I'm gonna see all that stuff firsthand.
Ali made the right call. He wasn't comfortable one bit. It wasn't ideal conditions. Waited this one out for another day. That day will come.
Local knowledge is brought to you by Andros Boatworks. Adventure never ends. The Florida Keys and Key West, come as you are. And bdoutdoors.com.
Reel down to the water until it's rip and drag. Get him!
We're just getting started. We lost a day getting ready to go. The Keys are actually a big reef. I mean, even where the houses are and the restaurants are and all that, the place is basically just one giant sandstone chunk of land.
So Ali's back in the Keys, and the conditions are absolutely perfect. Clear water, no wind, and zero current.
I'm basically looking for revenge. I don't like not being able to accomplish something I've set my mind to.
Is the tide's going, what, this way?
Fortunately, conditions this time around were near perfect. We had 60 or 80 feet of visibility, flat, calm seas. We were on a slack tide, so there's almost no water moving. It was amazing. The best conditions you could ever ask for.
This dive for Ali was totally opposite than his first dive. This one was a lot more enjoyable for him.
I saw so much life down there. That's what really blew me away. I've done a lot of snorkeling and even sort of amateur diving in Mexico, and there's a ton of life on those reefs. I didn't think anything in the United States could compare. Immediately after diving in, we had this red grouper come up to us. We sat on the bottom, and he kind of became our pet. And he followed us around for almost the whole dive. He even let me pet his fins.
The first spot I took Ali to was a series of ledges I grew up diving on. Did a lot of spearfishing when I was a young boy on those ledges. You know, I knew it was going to be a good spot for groupers and just life in general.
Probably the coolest thing about the dive, aside from seeing all the life and the fish, was really gaining a better understanding of what's going on underneath the boat when we're fishing.
I'm always looking for the grouper. Grouper live in caves, in holes, and in the rock. So even when I'm recreationally diving, and I'm always sticking my head in the holes, in the rocks, I'm always looking for that grouper. I want to study them. I want to see how they're living, where they're hiding, and what they're doing. And at the end of the day, that teaches me some of the things I need to know when I'm fishing.
And there's a lot of spots where Rush is like, don't worry about getting rocked up. And I saw that kind of bottom. It was hard bottom with a little bit of growth on it, but not a lot of big rocks or caves. And then there's other spots we fish where Rush is like, drag the Terminator, you know, pull as hard as you can, get that fish up out of the rocks. And we saw those spots. That terrain down there, especially the ledgy, cavey stuff, I mean, it made me feel a lot better about getting broken off.
Those grouper can run back in those ledges forever. You think they go in one hole and it's like Jack in the Box. They come out the other. Diving those spots is how I learned how to fish those spots.
I think this will really make me a better fisherman, a better waterman. It was really a unique experience, and I mean, as much as I love to fish down here, I think I'm gonna be splitting my time diving. I loved it. That was cool as hell.
Fun stuff, buddy, fun stuff.
Introducing a revolutionary concept in outboards, a choice. Now with the Evinrude E-Tech G2, you can choose unrivaled performance, superior fuel economy, and the cleanest combustion outboard on the planet. Choose from hundreds of color combinations to perfectly match your boat. And choose 5 years or 500 hours with no dealer scheduled maintenance. Experience the power of choice at ChooseYourEtech.com.
BDOutdoors.com is your one-stop source for all things fishing, boating, and outdoors. Stay dialed in with current fishing reports, breaking news, and our extensive library of how-to tips. You'll learn about rigging, fish cleaning, boat maintenance. We have recipes for seafood and game, cutting-edge videos, and gear giveaway contests. It's all free at BDOutdoors.com.
Local knowledge is brought to you by Mustad Hooks, defining fishing hooks since 1877. AFTCO, the American Fishing Tackle Company. Costa, see what's out there. And by Casa Vieja Lodge, experience 5-star angling in tropical Guatemala.
There's a few jacks on the back side there. Let me give you, yeah, there's a couple here.
You're not gonna tie my knots?
No, I'm probably not gonna tie your knots. You've gotten so good at it.
Dude, this is the worst charter.
We have a love-hate relationship with amberjacks.
Very good at it.
You love them because for some people, it's the greatest thing in the world. They wanna pull on a big fish, it's your go-to fish. Other people, you know, they wanna get down to the grouper and snapper, and sometimes the amberjack's not gonna let you do that. Current's not too bad either. We made the right call for once.
It's funny, everywhere you go, certain fish have a bad rap. And generally, they get a bad rap because they're so abundant. And that's kind of the case here with the amberjack. These guys in Florida, they are not too hip on catching. Great fish to take a charter client out for, big fish, pulls hard, whatever. On my side of the world, on the Pacific, we don't catch that many amberjack. And when we do, they're a real treat.
So get ready, and we're gonna drop right here.
These don't pull very hard, right? Like it's gonna be a nice, easy fight.
You'll barely even know you have one on.
Okay, so it's a real gentle bite and first one. Good.
If he pulls a little drag, you'll be lucky.
By the time you get that fish about halfway up off the bottom and it's still pulling your arms out of the sockets, you, my friend, have caught the Florida reef donkey. It's like we're off of them. Oh, maybe not.
There you go. That's what you wanted.
It's kind of snappery at first. I was actually stoked. Then it turned into a donkey.
What I usually tell people about right now is, oh no, it's a big grouper. It might be.
Might be, actually.
Probably a big gag. The number one thing that's gonna tell you that you have an amberjack on is the amberjack is gonna fight you all the way to the top.
Yes.
That's not a jack.
It's a grouper.
Or a giant red snapper. Fighting more like a grouper.
Grouper, feels like.
A big one too.
Gag.
Nice gagger. You can just tell it's a different fight.
Oh yeah, once you got it up, you know what, 50 feet or something, the fighting stopped, and then a couple of thumps on the way up. That's Grouper City.
It's a nice one too.
Yeah, it's a good fish.
It made quite a few sandwiches.
Oh yeah. Too bad we can't take him home for dinner.
No, we're gonna have to let this guy go. And there he goes.
Nice. Good to see him swim off happy like that.
When you're targeting AJs, groupers, muttons, you're bottom fishing. You know, you're sending them baits down to the bottom or close to the bottom in hopes that grouper or muttons or any kind of snapper is gonna come find them.
Yeah! Oh, that looks a little groupery.
Nah, I bet it's a little red snapper, one of those little vermilions. If I had to guess, I would say red snapper. Or little baby amberjack.
The extinct American red snapper.
Yeah, they're far from extinct, I can tell you that. A lot of people have big expectations, you know, they want to target a certain species. But when you go fishing, be ready for anything.
I haven't caught one in a while. I forgot how much
pretty.
they are.
I mean, look how red they are.
It looks like the mutton, just a little redder, no gold, and
a lot more red, a lot more red.
Shape-wise and everything, though,
pretty
very
close.
similar.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Dorsal's a little different.
Yeah.
You know.
See, now we don't have fish like this where I'm at. I could eat that every night. Don't let that guy go.
Yeah.
It's tough to do.
We're gonna send them back. You know, they open them 2 weeks out of the year now, so we gotta let all these guys go. Oh God, he's feisty. You never know what's gonna pop up in that chum line or what's gonna pop up behind the boat. Big wahoo? Go on. Oh, give me a blue runner.
Where's he at, Alex?
Ow, right in my finger.
Oh, I wish I had a surface iron on. You let him eat it on this live bait, or?
As soon as he eats it, lock it up.
Okay. I've never caught one on live bait.
Yeah, as soon as he eats, he's got that short little shot. As soon as you feel him eat it, close the bail. This is not the wahoo.
Shark, why don't you catch a wahoo, Rush?
Sharks have become a huge problem here in the Keys. I cannot believe you could just throw a herring out there on the surface.
In the middle of nowhere.
And a shark's gonna eat it. That thing literally hit the water and he was on it.
Is that a silky?
That's a silky.
Yeah,
Big one.
We have those. He's already got a line hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah, he didn't learn the first time. The sharks have actually adapted to the fishermen in the boats. They actually know the sound of the motors, and when they hear a boat pulling up to a spot, they actually know it's feeding time. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Donkey Kong.
It feels like he's getting eaten right there.
Sharked?
No, it's not a shark. Probably another grouper. Definitely feels like another grouper.
Oh, it's not a jack?
No. I mean, he doesn't make that run.
It's coming too easy.
It's easy to identify when you have a shark problem. You're either getting nothing back, fish you're fighting gets a lot heavier than it started off as, or you're getting half fish back. Think we got a little shark problem?
Looks like Jaws got him before we did.
No,
You've got to let that fish go even though he's banged up.
Absolutely.
That's just a shame, man.
Close
That's enough to
season.
feed us and the whole crew for dinner, you know?
It's been tough lately. Sometimes you got to move 2 and 3 times in a day just to get away from the shark.
I think my minnow got eaten again. There you go.
That's gonna hurt.
Not a really big one.
It could be a snapper. Probably not.
Doubt it.
doesn't seem like a snapper. I mean, I'm hoping he's at least 80 pounds for you.
This is more than that nibble you promised.
You find them anywhere. I mean, I've caught big 100-pounders, 80-pounders on these same spots, you know? How's it feel on that 8-foot rod?
Oh, awesome. I noticed you're not trying to catch one anymore.
We're off the spot.
Why don't you go ahead and get yourself one?
Here, I'll do you a favor. I'll help you out a little bit. I'm gonna back up towards him a little bit.
You're a
How about that?
sweetheart.
I can see your fish down there. He's still down about 250 on the machine. Look, you can see him right there.
They are so strong, and they want to get back to that bottom. They'll break your spirit and they'll break your back.
It's the hardest I've seen you work in a long time.
Oh, I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Oh, dude, you got at least 100 foot of viz right now.
I could see him down there 60, 80 feet.
See him expelling all the air?
Yeah.
It's what you don't want to do when you're diving. Yeah. There he is.
I'd estimate that at 18 pounds, would you say?
Look, see the little remora on him?
Does he have one?
Yeah, little sucker fish.
Wow, man. One of the biggest things that makes, a game fish a prize game fish is its table fare. As close as you're gonna get to a sure thing for catching billfish is Casa Vieja Lodge.
They're here, man. This has been a 20-year run, buddy. These things haven't left. There's no cycle.
When it comes to sail fishing, this is the real deal.
The amount of sailfish here is ridiculous.
It's been said that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at the office. But down here in the Florida Keys, we have to disagree. Because with over 200 of the world's best charter boat captains and guides, there's no such thing as a bad day of fishing. The Florida Keys and Key West.
There he is. Dude, they are such a cool animal, and the fact that you have these on tap, we don't have this fishing out our way. You know, the old saying goes, one man's trash is another man's treasure. In this case, it's very true of the amberjack. I mean, what do you think that weighs?
35,
35? Yeah, maybe a pound more than that.
Maybe a pound more.
Amberjack smokes really well, which makes for a great smoked fish dip. They're readily available, they're not very expensive, and if you're a guy looking to make, you know, a living off of fish dip, it might be the perfect fish.
They are pretty, man.
That's a cool fish, man.
Talk about a fight.
Oh,
You got to feel it right there
there's
firsthand.
few things that pull like an amberjack. This trip's been real productive. Got my first dive with the boys out of the way, got my second dive with them out of the way, saw some awesome stuff, caught a bunch of fish. We had really one of the best days on the water down here I've ever had. It was flat calm and the fish wanted to destroy everything.
What do you say we let him go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today's not your day to be dip. Smiling Bob will have to wait. This was just turning into an awesome trip. There was still one more thing I wanted to check out. I've eaten this stuff for years. It's all over Florida, Publix, everywhere you go. What's the story behind Smiling Bob's smoked fish dip?
Smiling Bob's story starts many years ago when Bob and Tom, my partners, started to form a company in 2009. Wanted to bring a great smoked fish dip to the marketplace.
Being an entrepreneur and a business owner, it was really cool to check out somebody else's operation, see someone else's story.
This is our product, the all-natural version. This is made with a vegenaise versus mayonnaise.
Okay.
The original is made with a mayonnaise.
So what's the secret? Is it the wood? Is it the mix? Is it everything?
I would tell you that probably the secret is that you'll never find a cup of ours that doesn't have king mackerel in it. King mackerel is our taste profile, number one.
Awesome fish for smoking, for
Right.
sure.
But it's forever and always buttonwood smoked king mackerel and amberjack combination. Serious smoked fish dip eater, and he just, loves it.
And the stuff goes good with beer, you can drink with wine. I mean, this dip is kind of everywhere you go. If you go to a backyard barbecue, somebody's gonna have some Smiling Bob's fish dip. Restaurants put it on the menu as Smiling Bob's fish dip.
Deviled eggs with it, pinwheels. They
Oh, that
make,
sounds good.
put it on chocolate chip cookies, whatever.
Now, I've heard like one of your biggest challenges is getting enough fish as you guys have grown. I heard a story that you guys actually follow around the Kingfish, the SKA tournament.
Those SKA tournaments are fabulous for us because it's a good deal for us.
Yep.
It's a good deal for them. There's fish that otherwise may not be used, and the fishermen also know that once they catch, maybe it's not a keeper for them for the tournament.
Yeah.
Instead of throwing that one back in the ocean, they'll bring it back and we'll use it. And
That's
we'll,
awesome.
We'll put it in our product.
They take those tournament fish and they exchange it to the guys, the anglers, for some already made fish dip.
By the codes in the computer system, I can tell you what fish is in here, where it was caught, when it was caught, by whom it was caught, and then through the entire process. So when a cup hits the shelf, by dating, we can tell exactly where the sourcing came from.
That's
we
awesome.
know everything
That's
about it.
responsible. So how long is this stuff good for? What's the shelf life on it?
Best by date on the bottom of each container.
Okay.
But this one lasts about 20 minutes, and this one, the big one, lasts about 40 minutes.
Yeah, they do not last very long when we're on the boat or having some beers or whatever. We've crushed plenty of those containers. So this one lasts through like a 6-pack, and this one will last through like a 12-pack as a rule of thumb?
Yeah, this one, and we do, by the way, we do also sell 5-pounders, so that would be like a keg of beer in a party.
Gotcha,
like
okay.
a Super Bowl party or something like that.
We're gonna need a couple of those in the truck before we leave. My last couple trips to the Keys, to be honest, have been pretty rough. Had some weather to battle and just bad timing. This trip was the polar opposite of that. We had great weather. I was able to get my dives in. We had some awesome fishing. It was a night and day difference over the last couple of trips, and it was great to get to spend some quality time down here.